What is the difference between alligators and crocodiles? Massive, toothy, aquatic reptiles have been mainstays in the animal kingdom since dinosaurs roamed the earth. Adaptability, toughness, and ruthless effort are just a few reasons why these animals continue to win the tough game of survival. Today we're taking a closer look at two commonly mistaken cousins, crocodiles and alligators. What's the story with them? What do they have in common? And more importantly, what are the differences? Let's talk about it. Crocodiles. The word crocodile is used differently by people. In many casual situations, the term refers to any member of the Crocodilia order and the families under it. This group of animals includes caiman, true gharials, false gharials, alligators, and true crocodiles. This is because they all share similar basic traits like elongated snouts, tough armor-like scales, thick tails, and sensory organs on the top of the head. This group of animals is also collectively known as crocodilians, which fuels the confusion. However, if we're being specific, true crocodiles are animals in the Crocodiloidae superfamily. Under the superfamily, we have the Crocodilidae family, and under that, the Crocodilinae and Osteolimini subfamilies. All in all, 18 extant species of true crocodile are distributed among these subfamilies. The word crocodile comes from the ancient Greek, but there is a little confusion. Some scholars believe the word is taken from crocodilos, which literally means lizard. Others claim that the word is a combo of croce, which means pebble, and drillos, which means worm. Pebble refers to the thick armor plates that line their backs and tails. These plates are known as osteoderms, and they do provide a significant amount of protection to the croc's fairly exposed back. However, osteoderms also serve as calcium stores. This calcium helps combat acid buildup during swimming and provides female crocs with the basic component of their eggshells. Apart from the platy armor, the croc has a thick, leathery hide. Color ranges mainly according to age, with mature individuals usually sporting dark green skin, and juveniles being more yellow to yellow-green. Albinism occurs once in a while too. Crocs are highly adaptable creatures, and this is proven by the fact that they are the most widely distributed crocodilians. The most populous species is Crocodilus niloticus, more commonly referred to as the Nile crocodile. This massive predator is also Africa's #1 human killer, behind the tiny mosquito, of course. The largest is the saltwater croc, mainly found in the countless water bodies of northern Australia. Salties, as they are commonly known, can grow to be 20 feet long and weigh well over 2,000 pounds. The smallest species is Osborn's dwarf crocodile from Africa's Congo Basin. The little snapper rarely grows past 6 feet. Crocodiles range from parts of North and Central America to the Caribbean, Africa, India, Southeast Asia, and Oceania. All of them are wholly carnivorous. They are formidable hunters, honed by over 55 million years of practice. Prey ranges from small insects, birds, and fish to massive mammals and even human beings. Yes, humans are always potential prey for hungry crocodiles, something we can't say for other scary predators like big cats or sharks. In fact, crocs will attack and try to eat anything they think they can overpower, and they have a lot of power to work with. Really large crocs are often apex predators in their environments, with adults having no natural predators. However, juveniles face a relentless gauntlet of hunters, large killer fish, birds of prey, lizards, snakes, cats, and other crocodilians are just the tip of the iceberg. When they aren't killing something, crocs are either chilling in the water or basking in the sun. Life isn't too complicated for them. However, these two activities play essential roles in thermal regulation. As cold-blooded animals, crocs have to manually regulate their body temperature using the outside environment. They bask to raise their body temperatures and open their mouths to dispel excess body heat. The gaping jaws concept is similar to the panting of dogs. Like man's best friend, man's best killer does not have sweat glands to help with cooling. When they get really hot, crocodiles find their way back into the water for a while. When swimming, crocodiles are as graceful as any animal in nature, a far cry from their sluggish movement on land. They have incredible lung capacity and respiration, allowing them to hold their breath for up to 15 minutes. They also have webbed feet and streamlined bodies for minimal resistance to help them pierce the water quickly. Their powerful tails act as propellers and play a pivotal role when lunging at prey. Additionally, a croc can close its nostrils when submerging. If you, or a highly trained expert, were to look one in the mouth, you would also see a palatal flap that prevents water from entering the animal's windpipe. Their swimming prowess is key to their hunting strategy. To catch land-dwelling prey, they lurk along the water's edge. Using their green skins as camouflage, they lull victims into a false sense of security. When all seems calm, the ruthless hunter strikes like lightning. Using a combination of the tail and surprisingly powerful hind legs, the croc launches more than halfway out of the water, teeth first, at the unfortunate sole. Once the jaws are clamped, they will not unclamp. Salties and Nile crocs can easily exert between 3,000 and 5,000 pounds per square inch of pressure, so escape is no mean feat. After latching on, they haul prey into the water to drown it. When the kill succeeds, the feast begins. The classic death roll, a move when a crocodile clamps on a piece of meat and rolls around sideways to rip it off, is used to dismember carcasses. Smaller prey like fish and birds are just snapped up in a bite or two, much like you would eat popcorn. Their impressive brawn is matched with incredible brain power. These ancient dinosaurs possess a cerebral cortex, part of the brain responsible for faculties like reason, memory, emotion, decision-making, personality, and even revenge. That's right, crocs neither forgive nor forget, and they can hold a grudge for decades. Crocs can live for 30 to 40 years on average, and frequently live up to 70 years in the wild. Centurion crocs are not unheard of either. Their advanced biological makeup, complete with a 4-chambered heart and saltwater biofilters, is key to this remarkable longevity. Alligators. To be honest, alligators are very similar to crocodiles in basically all the ways that matter. They have tough hides, legendary swimming abilities, thermal regulation habits, and big, scary teeth. Gators are pretty smart too, and have proven to be hardy survivors in the face of intense human encroachment. They are cultural icons, pests, and ecological heroes, in equal measure in their native regions. Today, we have 2 true alligator species: the lesser-known Chinese alligator, Alligator sinensis, and the widely infamous American alligator, Alligator mississippiensis. Paleontologists believe common ancestors that crossed the Bering Land Bridge in the Neogen period are the link between the 2 species, which seem wildly distant today. Both alligators belong to the Alligatortidae family of the Crocodilia order. Caimans also belong to this family, though under a branch-off subfamily called Caimanini. This means caimans are more closely related to gators than to crocs. The family has been around for at least 37 million years. As the name suggests, alligators are only found in America and the Yangtze River Valley in China. In the U.S., you'll find them in Florida and several parts of southern states. But the greatest numbers are in the Everglades of Florida, where they thrive on the rich choice of prey. Gators are exclusive to freshwater. They love swamps, bayous, lakes, rivers, and even a good-sized backyard pond. Like their croc cousins, alligators are also exclusive to flesh. They prey on anything from frogs to deer and even family pets. Human predation is very rare, but parents and guardians must be extra vigilant when kids are near water out in gator country. Humans being bitten is a very common occurrence too, and the bites hurt. Alligators can chomp down with 2,000 to 2,500 psi of pressure, more than enough to crack a man's leg bone. Luckily, they seem to understand that human meat is more trouble than it is worth, so they usually avoid conflict unless they feel cornered. Alligators are undeniably large reptiles and rank high among crocodilians. However, they do not hold a candle to the largest crocodile species. The largest alligators weigh around 900 pounds and reach lengths of 14 feet. Chinese alligators are by far the smaller species, with maximum weights of 100 pounds and lengths of 7 feet. How are they different? Let's start by looking at their faces. If you look carefully, you'll see that crocodiles have a V-shaped snout, while alligators have a blunt U-shaped snout. Crocs are also dark green when mature. Gators are dark brown to olive. Juveniles can be tough to tell apart because they both have vibrant yellowing, but the snouts are different even at this stage. Tooth visibility is another telltale sign. If it has both upper and lower teeth visible when the jaws are closed, it's a croc. Crocodiles have upper and lower jaws of equal width, so teeth cannot be tucked inside. Oppositely, if you can only see upper teeth, you're looking at a gator. Crocs have external ridges and grooves on their upper jaws, allowing the lower teeth to be visible. These ridges are on the inside of the gator's wide upper jaw, allowing it to hide its lower chompers. We've already spoken about size. If the animal you're looking at appears to be longer than 14 feet, you're probably not looking at a gator. Tied to size is bite force, but we hope you don't have to use this to tell between the two. Big crocs can have more than twice the bite force and pulling power of alligators, which gives them access to even larger prey. Another giveaway clue is your location. If you're in Africa, Thailand, Australia, or anywhere outside the southern US, you won't be finding alligators in your neck of the woods. American alligators do share environments with American crocodiles, though. Crocodiles also have environmental versatility. They have special desalination glands that remove excess salt water from their systems. This means they can live in either salt or fresh water on a whim. Alligators do not have these glands and are therefore restricted to fresh water. Another notable difference between alligators and crocodiles is that crocodiles are notably more aggressive towards humans. Alligators tend to run from humans because they see us as predators, but not crocs. Crocs see you as food. What is the difference between wolves and coyotes? Wolves and coyotes are among the most misidentified wild animals out there, constantly mistaken for each other where their home ranges overlap. Luckily, we've decided to help everyone using today's video, where we will look at these canine cousins in a little more detail. By the end, you'll have no problem telling a wolf from a coyote, or vice versa. So let's get going. Wolves. Wolves, also known as Canis lupus, are the biggest wild member of the dog family, Canidae. These ancient wild dogs are also among the most iconic creatures in nature, playing prominent roles in countless traditional and modern cultures. Technically, the animal we call the wolf is classified under the umbrella term gray wolf. It has up to 30 wild subspecies as well as derivatives like dingoes and domestic dogs. The modern species, Canis lupus, has been around for about 1.1 million years, having descended from Canis mosbacensis, a prehistoric wolf species that went extinct in the Middle Pleistocene. The species is called the gray wolf because this is the most common coloration. However, in reality, wolves can range from totally brown, black, gray, rust, or white to infinite mishmashes of any of these colors. So you could say gray is the average color for these animals. Wolves are mainly native to the northern hemisphere, and they range throughout North America, Europe, and Asia. Subspeciation is often based on the unique adaptations to specific regions, which is why they have names like Iberian wolf, Canis lupus signatus, Italian wolf, Canis lupus italicus, or Arabian wolf, Canis lupus arabs. Of course, with humans in charge of much of their historical range, wolves have significantly reduced habitats and populations. Living alongside large, dangerous predators is tricky to say the least, so humans have gone a long way toward protecting themselves and their livestock. Globally, no large predator terrorizes farms and farmers like the wolf. Lone wolves can wreak horror upon poultry houses, while good-sized packs are existential threats to sheep, goats, cattle, and even people. Armed with sharp teeth, size, stamina, and a relentless attitude, wolves are ruthlessly efficient predators who often rule as apex hunters in many parts of their home ranges. Of course, without a doubt, the wolf's most important tool/weapon is its high sociability. Wolf packs multiply these animals' already incredible individual strengths to create an entity that is almost impossible for rivals or prey to beat. These groups are held together by strong social bonds that are themselves reinforced with a variety of communication methods. Wolves have a wide range of complex body language cues, as well as vocalizations like growls, whimpers, yelps, and the famous long-distance howl. A typical wolf pack consists of an alpha pair of adults, their offspring, and subadults. Other adults may also join a pack in the right conditions, such as if there's enough food to go around, or if the pack leaders need to boost the group's numbers for territorial defense or conquest. Wolves are highly aggressive creatures, ready to fight to the death for territory, food, or to protect their young. They also have to fight against some of the harshest climates and environments on Earth. Most wolf populations live in regions with long and brutally lean winters, while others live in scorching deserts and arid zones. Not to mention the various fellow predators that pose all kinds of threats. Depending on the particular neck of the woods, wolves often compete against mountain lions, striped hyenas, jackals, coyotes, bears, lynxes, and tigers. All of these killers hate wolves with a passion and would not hesitate to get one over on them. Vulnerable wolf pups are frequently the victims of these interspecies disputes, while wolves pay back their rivals in the same bloody coin, often with interest. When it comes to size, wolves are quite variable depending on factors like location, sex, and time of the year. Wolves are often at their heaviest in late summer and autumn because of prey abundance, and at their leanest in late winter, when the hard times have taken their toll. European wolves are, on average, a little bigger than their cousins from other parts of the world. Generally, though, they range between 41 and 63 inches in body length, excluding the tails. Tails are 11 to 20 inches long, while shoulder height is from 31 to 33 inches. Weight ranges from 26 pounds to 175 pounds. Females of any given subspecies or population are often 5 to 10 pounds smaller than their male counterparts. Like many mammals in its domain, the wolf can grow an extra layer of protection, a winter coat with long, rough hairs to stifle the biting wind. Underneath, it has an undercoat with short, dense fur. The winter coat comes in at the end of autumn and is shed during spring. At its thickest, a wolf's winter fur can allow it to brave temperatures of minus 40 degrees Celsius. The fur is even resistant to ice-forming condensation. Thanks to their natural winter protection and complex thermoregulation systems, wolves can focus solely on doing what they do best: hunting and killing. Most of their prey is made up of ungulates, though the specific animals differ depending on the range. That said, animals like moose, elk, red deer, caribou, sambar, white-tailed deer, mule deer, and wild boar are staples. They will also go after hares, foxes, bears, lizards, birds, and all types of rodents. Livestock may also feature on a wolf's menu depending on circumstances. Oftentimes it is elderly, injured, or sick wolves that are driven to prey on pets and farm animals, which risks human interaction and retaliation. Wolves use a variety of tactics to catch and dispatch prey. Most of them rely on their speed and incredible stamina. These wild dogs can chase prey for hours on end, wearing it down with sheer fatigue before moving in for the kill. Coyotes. The coyote, also known as the prairie wolf, brush wolf, or American jackal, is another prominent member of the Canidae family in Canis genus. Though it is under the same genus as wolves, the coyote's scientific name is Canis latrans. For the most part, coyotes are significantly smaller than true lupus wolves, and are therefore less likely to be apex predators. Though highly proficient hunters themselves, coyotes meet a lot of their dietary requirements by scavenging the leavings of larger predators, like wolves or mountain lions. In essence, they have a similar ecological niche as Eurasian golden jackals or African black-backed jackals, animals known for high adaptability, scavenging, and small-time predation. There are 19 subspecies of Canis latrans, distributed throughout North America and the northern tips of Central America. They range in color, though not as much as wolves. Coloration is often a combination of light gray, rust, white, and tawny brown. Subspecies in eastern North America have darker coats than subspecies in the west. Coyotes in the east are bigger too. Average weight ranges from 25 pounds to 40 pounds, but many adult specimens fall above or below this range. Body length is between 39 and 53 inches, and this includes a 16-inch tail. Females are a little smaller than males, and weight can vary significantly depending on the coyote's home range and the time of the year. The biggest coyote ever documented was a male killed in the 1930s. This specimen was 59 inches long and weighed a hefty 75 pounds. While smaller than wolves, coyotes have longer and more pointed muzzles and ears, at least relative to body size. The overall body profile is more slender and less robust than a wolf's as well. Their brain cases are larger too, pound for pound. Another important difference is that coyotes move around with their tail pointed downwards rather than horizontally like wolves. The word coyote is a Spanish derivative of the Aztec Mexicano word coyotl, and it was once written as coyote or coyote before European settlers in the Americas settled on the modern spelling. There are two main ways of pronouncing the word in English. One is to keep the E at the end silent, and the other involves pronouncing the E, which gives the word 3 syllables. In the US, the 3-syllable pronunciation is more common, while the 2-syllable way is used more frequently outside the US. Which brings us to another major difference between coyotes and wolves. Coyotes are only found in the New World, specifically North America and some parts of Central America. There are 0 native coyotes in Eurasia, Africa, or anywhere else, and these places have their own versions of jackals or coyote-like animals. Coyotes are synonymous with wide-open grass plains where the deer and bison play. They also thrive in semi-arid zones and desert conditions. Like wolves, though, coyotes are highly sociable, though they can and often do go at it alone. Because coyotes are not dependent on large prey as wolves are, they are a bit flexible when it comes to opting for life in groups or alone. That said, teaming up with other coyotes opens up opportunities to go after large game. These animals can live in nuclear families, loosely related groups, or non-related groupings. Family groups are established when a male and female pair up and mate, find a territory, build a den, and have a litter of pups. Coyotes are strictly monogamous for the duration of each reproductive cycle, and males assist females with den building, guarding the den, and sourcing food for pups. Coyote pups are born after a 63-day gestation period and grow fast. Interestingly, unlike wolf pups, baby coyotes are very aggressive with each other right off the bat, engaging in real fighting that can lead to serious injury or death. This behavior is meant to establish dominance hierarchies among the pups. Only after the respective rankings are solidified do the pups begin playing for fun. Pups reach full size by 8 months and full weight by 9, and are more than capable of helping their parents with big game hunting. When it comes to diet, the coyote is far from fussy. They eat anything from beetles and grasshoppers to toads and rodents, birds, reptiles, and any ungulate they can catch and kill. Carrion also plays a big role in their diet, and coyotes will scavenge pretty much any kind of meat, including human flesh. Cannibalism is also pretty common with this species. In North America, at least, coyotes are arguably a bigger menace to farms and other human settlements. These guys go after all kinds of pets and livestock while carrying a bunch of serious diseases. Coyote is also much more comfortable around human settlements than wolves, and as a result, coyotes are a much more frequent sight and problem in urban areas. According to recent statistics, coyotes are the #1 wild animal threat to domestic dogs and cats in the US and Canada, so best keep your gate or doors locked. What is the difference between Komodo dragons and Asian water monitors? Large reptiles are far from a new phenomenon in the world. For millions and millions of years, the Earth has been home to reptilian creatures of all shapes and sizes. Notable examples include the famed dinosaurs of the Cretaceous and preceding eras, as well as crocodilians and snakes. However, today we're looking at a group of reptiles that don't get nearly as much limelight as alligators, crocs, and serpents, the monitor lizards. Our focus is on 2 of the biggest species alive today, Komodo dragons and Asian water monitors. What's the story behind these fork-tongued beasts? Are they actually different animals? And if so, what are the differences between them? Well, let's find out, shall we? Scaled up. The Komodo dragon is a large monitor lizard. In fact, it is the largest monitor lizard alive today. The beast is known to science as Varanus komodoensis. It is classified within the reptilian family Varanidae. The genus Varanus is the only one left in this family, and is therefore the home to all monitor lizard species. And all also includes the other subject of today's video, the Asian water monitor. However, the water monitor's scientific name is Varanus salvator. So, as you can see, despite their close relations, the two lizards are completely different species. Komodo dragons have no subspecies, while there are 6 subspecies of water monitor that differ in size, geographic location, markings, and coloration. The Komodo dragon is found on a number of Indonesian islands, including Komodo, Gili, Rinca, and Flores. They live in low-altitude grasslands and forests close to the bulk of their preferred food. Meanwhile, the Asian monitor has a far wider range and distribution. This range includes India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Thailand, Vietnam, Java, Borneo, Bali, the southern parts of China, and several other places in Southeast Asia. As the name suggests, the water monitor is very fond of water and is, in fact, regarded as a semi-aquatic creature. Its habitats include swamps and forests close to rivers, lakes, and other bodies of water. Both dragons and water monitors are carnivores that prowl for prey or scavenge. The Komodo dragon is an apex predator in its island kingdoms, as no other animal in those environments would even think about preying on adult specimens. The water monitor, on the other hand, is hardly ever an apex predator, as it often contends with bigger, meaner killers like crocodilians, pythons, leopards, tigers, and bears on the Asian mainland. When it comes to size, the Komodo dragon reigns supreme. Adults range from 7.5 to 8.5 feet from nose to tail on average, and intact tails make up half of this total body length. The larger males have an average weight range of 174 to 201 pounds, while females are typically anywhere between 150 and 161 pounds. That said, these are just average numbers. Record-breaking and record-threatening dragons may be significantly larger. The biggest ever was a captive specimen that was 10 feet 3 inches long and weighed 366 pounds. However, some of that weight included the undigested meal that was still in its stomach. The largest wild one was 10 feet long and weighed 180 pounds after its stomach contents were removed. The water monitor is also a large lizard and widely believed to be the second largest behind the dragon. Length is usually between 4 feet 11 inches and 6 feet 7 inches, while weight ranges considerably from 7 to 43 pounds. Especially large specimens can reach 110 pounds. Males are typically larger than females of the same subspecies, and captive monitors tend to grow bigger than wild ones. Now let's talk coloration. Adult Komodo dragons are usually a dark brownish green, though others may be dark gray or even black. They often have patches of light brown or white splattered randomly across their bodies. Juveniles tend to have brighter skin and more vibrant markings than their parents. Asian monitors are largely dark blackish-brown, with yellowish spots along the sides and undersides of their bodies. The spots fade with age, meaning juveniles are also more colorful than adults. Adults of both species have special scales reinforced with bony structures called osteoderms. Fun fact, osteoderm armor is also found on the backs and tails of crocodiles and alligators. Like with crocodilians, osteoderms provide dragons and water monitors with a layer of much-needed protection. These scales help lessen the impact of blows from both predators and rivals. The scales of juvenile water monitors and Komodo dragons do not have these bony plates. This shows that they develop with time to help brace for the food and reproductive fights that come with age. And speaking of age, life expectancy for the two species is a bit different as well. Water monitors can live for 11 to 25 years in captivity, while Komodo dragons can reach 30. However, life expectancies for both are much shorter in the wild. Komodo dragons have a well-earned reputation for aggression and relentlessness. Their mouths, with their bloody salivating drool and 60 chompers, are the stuff of nightmares. The teeth are thin, recurved, and serrated, which makes them perfect for slicing and lacerating flesh. The dragon's drool often looks bloody because it constantly hurts its own gums when feeding. Of course, while the mouth is definitely the dragon's most concerning side, you cannot ignore the tail. Like most monitor lizards, Komodo dragons can use their tails as whip-like weapons, and these strikes can cause considerable damage to unsuspecting victims. The tail has an incredible reach, and a dragon can easily smack you in the face with it. The claws are another formidable weapon in the dragon's armory. These curved claws can grow to over 2 inches long and are used for slashing at enemies or prey and digging. Claws are also used for climbing during the juvenile years. The water monitor boasts much of the same weaponry as its larger cousin, but at an obviously reduced scale. The water monitor's fin-like tail is its primary defensive weapon against predators or rivals of the same species. Flicks of the tail can deal substantial damage and even knock a person off their feet. Now, one issue that has been the subject of major debate for years now is whether or not Varanus lizards like the dragon and the water monitor are actually venomous. For a long time, the consensus was that the gnarly after effects of monitor lizard bites were the result of the oral bacteria in their mouths. The drool-happy Komodo dragon, especially, is often believed to harbor rotting pieces of meat in its bloody gums. This decaying flesh is said to be a breeding ground for brutal bacteria that causes fatal infections in bite victims. However, in more recent times, scientific research has shown that monitor lizards have special glands along their lower jaws. In the case of the Komodo dragon, chemical analysis has since revealed that the glands do in fact contain toxic proteins that cause paralysis, lowering of blood pressure, and even the induction of hypothermia. Additionally, these toxins also prevent blood clotting. Therefore, in reality, both the Komodo dragon and the water monitor can be said to be venomous. This venom is useful for both offense and defense, and the Komodo dragon is especially reliant on it to catch some of its preferred menu items. For water monitors, venom is likely most useful for defense, since most of their prey is gobbled up as soon as it is snatched. So, just what do these monitor lizards eat? In the case of Komodo dragons, anything or anyone can be dinner. A big chunk of a dragon's diet is made up of carrion that either died by itself or was killed by something else. However, these monsters are also ambush hunters that employ a surprising degree of stealth when going after live prey. Live prey often includes wild pigs, deer, and even water buffalo. After lying in wait or sneaking up on a victim, dragons will explode with a dramatic burst of energy and sprint or lunge to close the remaining distance. They bite as often as they can, using their front limbs and claws to help with positioning and manipulating the victims. Depending on the size of the dragon, size of the prey, and brutality of the attacks, such large ungulates may die within seconds or after a few hours. Infection-based sepsis is a common cause of death, and this is often attributed to the dragon's mouth bacteria. However, sepsis is likely a result of Komodo dragon victims wading into dirty water and getting their bite wounds infected. Komodo dragons will also target birds' nests for chicks and eggs, as well as fish, crabs, and amphibians. There's also no doubt that Komodo dragons would eat human flesh if presented with the chance. Large prey is devoured one chunk at a time. Small prey is swallowed whole. The dragon boasts specially articulated jaws, expandable stomachs, and even flexible skulls that allow them to swallow animals as large as goats whole. Water monitors are versatile hunters. Fish, frogs, and crabs are the staples for individuals who live near water. However, the species will also go after snakes, rodents, turtles, and birds. Monitors in or around human settlements and towns can also hunt and kill poultry, dogs, and cats. They also raid rubbish cans and dump sites for easy pickings. Carrion is also a welcome treat, and even human bodies are not exempt. Cannibalism is not off the dinner table either. Varanus lizards will also go after dead members of their own or other monitor species, as well as living juveniles. As a result, small dragons and water monitors tend to stick to the trees to avoid their cannibalistic elders. Other notable differences. Despite having a very similar body profile to water monitors, Komodo dragons have a more squared-off jaw. Water monitors have a more pointed snout. The tails are different too. The dragon's tail is more cone-shaped, including at the back end. A water monitor's tail ends in a fin-like shape, kind of like an eel's. This obviously speaks to the two species' different reliance on water bodies and swimming. Komodo dragons don't mind getting wet, but they are not beating water monitors at swimming anytime soon. Coloration is another thing to look at. A Komodo dragon is much more likely to be one continuous color, while water monitors tend to have more pronounced markings and patches. Then there's behavior. A dragon has the overt boldness, aggression, and territorialism befitting a true apex predator. Meanwhile, water monitors tend to keep a low profile to avoid predators and only get aggressive for food, self-defense, or against rivals within the species. While both species are venomous, there's no doubt that the Komodo dragon's bite packs a meter punch, since it can bring down a whole water buffalo. Lastly is sociability. Despite being very territorial, Komodo dragons will often tolerate others when feeding on huge meals. This communal dining is very rare for water monitors, mainly because they generally hunt smaller creatures that are far less shareable. Additionally, water monitors' swimming skills make them far more prolific hunters than their larger cousins, which means they are far less reliant on kills made by others. What is the difference between the Bengal tiger and Siberian tiger? Even among the amazingly diverse cat family, tigers stand out as truly unique. These striped giants rule the roost as undisputed apex predators wherever they're found, only fearing humans and each other. At the same time, we have multiple tiger subspecies, each with its own distinctions and claim to fame. In today's video, we will be comparing the largest subspecies with the most common. That's right, we're pitting the Siberian tiger up against the Bengal tiger to figure out the similarities and, more importantly, the differences between the two subspecies. Without further ado, let's get started. Bengal tiger. The Bengal tiger is the nominal subspecies of tiger, which basically means it is the most common subspecies. The cat is known to taxonomists as Panthera tigris tigris, and its common name is derived from India's Bengal region. Some folks refer to it as the Royal Bengal tiger too. These beautiful cats have been around since the late Pleistocene, about 12,000 to 17,000 years ago. In their heyday, they were found throughout India, as well as parts of western Pakistan, western China, Nepal, Bhutan, and Bangladesh. These days, they're mostly found in various parts of India, Bangladesh, and southwestern China. Humans are the chief reason behind their decline, with deforestation, poaching, and culling driving Bengal tigers into the endangered classification. It is estimated that there are fewer than 4,000 Bengal tigers left in the wild. Aesthetically, the Bengal tiger is probably what most people think of when they think of what a tiger looks like. It sports the iconic yellow-orange coat with brown and black stripes, as well as a pale underbelly and facial markings. In rarer cases, individuals may sport white coats and dark stripes. These white tigers are the result of recessive genetic mutation carried by some tigers, and not the result of albinism. We also sometimes get golden tigers, whose bright yellow fur is also a result of recessive genes. Regardless of specific coloration, Bengal tigers are huge. Males are quite a bit bigger than females. They measure between 72 and 83 inches in body length, with their tails adding a further 33 to 43 inches. Weight can be anywhere between 440 and 570 pounds. Females are between 65 and 76 inches long, excluding the tail. They weigh between 240 and 400 pounds when fully grown. Shoulder height for the species is anywhere between 35 and 43 inches, with males occupying the taller end of that particular range. With such numbers, the Bengal tiger is one of the largest tiger subspecies and one of the largest cats to ever walk the earth. With great size comes great power. The Bengal tiger is a feared and revered predator, with athleticism to match its tremendous bulk and stealth skills that belie it. No one is safe in its kingdom, and its power, teeth, claws, and hot breath are the last things its victims ever experience. The tiger prefers all sorts of forest environments. Evergreen jungles, deciduous woods, swamps, and even mountain woodlands are ample environments for this elusive hunter, which uses the shadows to blend in and ambush prey. When it comes to hunting, tigers tend to favor large prey. They typically prey on sambar and chital deer, water buffalo, gaur, and barsinga. Away from these large animals, they will also go after boar, langur, hares, monkeys, and various jungle fowl. These tigers are also world-class swimmers who can pursue fish, crabs, river dolphins, and even crocodilians. Of course, given the ever-increasing proximity to humans, tigers are not above going after the odd bit of livestock. Tigers sometimes switch to hunting livestock full-time when they are injured or too old to catch wild game, which always leads to trouble. Livestock is just too easy to catch compared to most traditional prey, mainly because farm animals typically cannot hope to outrun a tiger or they are usually confined or tied up. In rarer circumstances, Bengal tigers will target humans themselves. Again, it is usually desperate tigers who resort to this after learning how easily they can kill humans. The most notorious man-eating tiger of all time was a Bengal tiger that killed and ate 400 people in the area near the Indian village of Champawat before it was shot and killed by hunters. These livestock and man-eating tendencies is why the Bengal tiger is the most feared creature in India's jungles. In retaliation, or as preventative measures, people often clear vast swaths of forest to push the tiger back, while hunting parties are deployed to cull the fearsome cats. Unfortunately, a great number of tigers that have never killed livestock or humans get caught up in the severe blanket punishments. That said, away from its fearsome reputation, the Bengal tiger is an important cultural icon in its native domain. The cat is arguably the symbol of India and figures prominently in various traditional and modern contexts. It is a symbol of nobility and royalty, strength and leadership, wisdom and war, as well as many other things. It is a major part of religions like Hinduism and Buddhism, where it reflects various values, omens, and even deities. Siberian tiger. The Siberian or Amur tiger is another famous subspecies. However, unlike its Bengal cousin, the Siberian tiger hails from northern China and the Russian Far East. Interestingly, it has the same scientific name as the Bengal tiger, Panthera tigris tigris. And that's because Tigris tigris is the umbrella classification for all tiger subspecies native to mainland Asia. That means the Siberian, Bengal, Malayan, Indo-Chinese, and South China tigers are all classified as Panthera tigris tigris, despite their differences. Tigers from Southeast Asian islands like the Javan and Sumatran tigers are classified as Panthera tigris sondaica. This simple separation of mainland and island tigers was orchestrated in 2017 by the Cat Specialist Group in a bid to dispel the rampant confusion that plagued tiger classification for a long time. Like Bengal tigers, the Siberian cats once had a pretty expansive range spanning from the Korean peninsula to the Russian Far East. Now they are largely confined to Siberia's Primorye province. Habitat loss and overhunting have driven the Siberian tiger to the brink, with fewer than 2,000 individuals left in the wild. Some estimates even claim there are fewer than 1,000 wild Siberian tigers left. Their pelts are famous trophies, while various body parts are believed to have great medicinal or even supernatural value. This tiger subspecies is famous for being the largest among all tigers, though others like the Bengal give it a proper run for its money. In fact, the general consensus these days is that the truly large Siberian tigers have been wiped out of the gene pool, and those that remain are smaller than their Bengal kin. The average body length for males in the Primorye province is around 77 inches, excluding the tails. For females, the average length is 69 inches. The largest male captured in this area weighed 467 pounds. The heaviest modern weights on trustworthy records are 490 pounds for males and 303 pounds for females. Of course, this animal's remote range and natural elusiveness means there are probably a few individuals that exceed these values. In fact, historically, the largest specimens were the prime targets for hunters, which explains why they've become smaller over time. As far as hearsay, some historical and modern reports talk about Siberian tigers ranging between 660 and 900 pounds. Such numbers would put it much closer to the animals like the Ndong tiger, Smilodon fatalis, and the American lions, the largest cats ever. The best evidence for these extreme claims is fossilized skulls, which are far significantly larger than any Bengal tiger skulls. Another of the Siberian tiger's famed characteristics is its fur, which is noticeably thicker than that of other subspecies, especially in winter. When winter approaches, the tiger grows a second coat of fur above its coarse and woolly undercoat. This upper coat is characterized by long and dense hairs, which is especially pronounced on the back of the neck and around the face and whiskers. When spring rolls around and temperatures rise, the tiger sheds the upper coat, making it close in appearance to other mainland tigers. Though their home environment can be tough, Siberian tigers are tougher. They are ruthlessly efficient predators that hunt and kill anything in their path. Their prey ranges from Siberian elk, moose, and roe deer to boars, bears, rabbits, and salmon. Depending on the prey and the time of year, A Siberian tiger makes kills every 4 to 7 days, consuming between 17 and 23 pounds of meat per day. When times are plentiful, they can eat as much as 20% of their body weight in flesh. Other notable differences. Firstly, Bengal tigers have a wider distribution throughout Asia, often occupying areas with temperate to tropical climes. Siberian tigers, in contrast, have a much smaller range and prefer the colder parts of Asia. Secondly is fur and coloration. Bengal tigers have short, thin fur that is yellow-orange, while their Siberian cousins have noticeably thicker fur that leans towards a pale gold. Bengal cats may have dark brown or black stripes, while Siberian tigers are almost always black. Next, we have the recessive mutation of the fur. Bengal tigers have many more instances of this, which results in white or gold tigers. Such occurrences are entirely undocumented among wild or captive Siberian tigers, which don't appear to carry these recessive traits. Then there's territory size. Given the greater density of both prey and other tigers, Bengal tigers tend to have far smaller domains than Siberian tigers, which often have to travel great distances to even get a whiff of food. A Bengal tiger's territory can max out at 90 square miles in very hard times, whereas Siberian tigers can have territories as large as 4,000 square miles. What is the difference between leopards and jaguars? Big cats are quite something, aren't they? Their appearance, physicality, grace, and power are just a few aspects we admire and fear about animals that once preyed on our ancestors. In modern times, we have made them the stars of countless studies, analyses, and documentaries. Despite the fanfare, the subjects of today's video would much rather live out their lives in the shadows, where their stealth provides protection and sustenance. We are, of course, talking about the jaguar and the leopard, distant cousins often mistaken for twins. So what are the differences between the two? Are there any similarities? Well, that's what we're going to find out. Spot the difference. Leopards and jaguars are fearsome jungle cats, known for their hitman-style kills and equally cold attitudes. These super predators have been inspiring fear in their respective ranges for ages. You heard that right. Leopards and jaguars live in totally different parts of the world. The leopard, aka Panthera pardus, is the most widely distributed wild cat in the world. Despite rapid urbanization, leopards are walking the proximity to humans tightrope much better than other big cats. They are found in most of the undisturbed wildlands of sub-Saharan Africa that can support their prey. Leopards also thrive in India, parts of Southeast Asia, and even the Russian Far East. They are rarer in Central Asia these days, but they thrived back when prey was plentiful. Environments range from semi-deserts to dense rainforests, while trees, boulders, and caves are classic habitats. As you can see, leopards are very much old-world big cats. Jaguars, Panthera onca, on the other hand, are the opposite. This New World kitty rules as the largest cat in the New World. Its habitat stretches from central Mexico down through Central America and into the rich jungles of South America. It is extinct in the United States, but once thrived and lived in diverse environments. Jaguars tend to stick to the jungles, preferring rich rainforests and swamps, but they can adapt to dry grassland and sparse forests. Jaguars are much more ground-based than leopards and live anywhere that provides cover. As apex predators, jaguars sleep easy knowing no animal would dare sneak up on them. Leopards are not usually apex predators where they live, and they often have to worry about lions, hyenas, tigers, wolves, and bears depending on their range. Therefore, they need safer real estate. What other differences are there between the two? Well, let's talk about the area that breeds so much of the confusion: their spotted coats. Typical specimens of both species have yellowish to reddish tan coats with black, brown, or reddish spots called rosettes. Spot patterns are unique to individuals, like our own fingerprints. At a casual glance, it's easy to confuse the two animals. However, there is one sure way to tell. The large rosettes on the jaguar's sides and hind legs often form rings with smaller dots inside them. A leopard's rosettes, no matter how large, never have dots in them. It's a subtle difference, but once you learn to look for it, it becomes easy to tell them apart. Even melanistic jaguars with all black coats have rosettes with dots, but this is a bit harder to see. Despite the difference, the spotted coats serve the same purpose. The pattern is excellent camouflage for these stealthy hunters, allowing them to get fatally close to prey without raising the alarm. The difference in the style of spots is a byproduct of divergent evolution. Divergent evolution describes two or more species without a recent shared ancestor that have evolved similar attributes for similar purposes. In other words, despite being separated by oceans and millennia of years of familial branching off, leopards and jaguars evolved spots because of their environments. So, besides the rosettes, how else can we tell leopards and jaguars apart? Well, their physical profiles and size. While both are very large cats, the jaguar is significantly larger, bulkier, and has a more lumbering gait, although still very graceful and nimble. Jaguars also have a more rounded head, while leopards have smaller heads with sharper angling, especially at the jaw. Jaguars have an average weight range of 123 to 210 pounds, with males occupying the upper ends of that range. In some cases, wild jaguars can be as large as 348 pounds. Shoulder height ranges between 22 and 32 inches. These numbers place the jaguar as the third largest cat species in the world, behind tigers and lions. The leopard is generally accepted as the fourth largest cat in the world, but some exceptionally large pumas give it a run for its money. Shoulder height range is between 22 and 28 inches, while weight ranges from 45 to 159 pounds. The biggest wild leopards frequently reach and exceed 200 pounds. Again, males grow larger than females. With a bit of experience, you can also learn to tell between leopards and jaguars by the proportions of the tail. Leopards have longer tails, relative to body height, than jaguars. Leopards' long tails are perfect counterbalances for life in the branches and their daring aerial maneuvers. This ties into the fact that leopards are more arboreal than jaguars. Don't get it wrong, jaguars are very decent tree climbers, but leopards are bona fide acrobats. Leopards depend on trees for shelter, shade, storage, and scouting. A leopard can haul a dead carcass more than twice its own body weight up a tree to stash it beyond the jaws of rival predators, a sight that never ceases to amaze. It can pursue baboons and monkeys through branches as if it were running on the ground. Again, jaguars have no one to hide prey from, so they are less reliant on climbing. But what the jaguar lacks in climbing, it more than makes up for in swimming. Along with tigers, jaguars are the most water-loving of the big cats and spend significant time lounging, playing, or pursuing prey in rivers, lakes, and even the sea. Leopards, on the other hand, generally stick to the feline stereotype of avoiding water apart from drinking. However, they are also good swimmers and will sometimes dive for fish and crabs. That said, affinity for going in the water varies greatly. Some leopards love it, while others absolutely hate getting wet. Perhaps the avoidance of water is based on the need to stay alert, especially when looking after young. Splashing about can afford a murderous lion or tiger just enough time to sink you or your cubs, after all. Additionally, leopards tend to live in areas where water bodies are home to a little problem known as crocodiles. The difference in home ranges also means there are differences in diet, although both cats are wholly carnivorous. Jaguars prey on the common staples in its neck of the woods. This includes lesser and greater anteaters, capybara, marsh deer, monkeys, agouti, and jungle fowl. They will also go after a variety of fish, turtles, crabs, and even caiman. Footage of jaguars sneaking up or swimming up to the unsuspecting crocodilians never stops being mind-blowing. Jaguars close to human settlements will also turn their focus on livestock. South America teems with cattle ranches, and many of these are right in jaguar territories. Jaguars also go after goats, chickens, and dogs. Attacks on humans are extremely rare, and man-eater jaguars are unheard of. Depending on the region, leopards prey on antelope, deer, birds, lizards, monkeys, baboons, wildebeest, zebra, and calves of large herbivores. Livestock is also easy picking for a leopard, who can borrow your goats on a nightly basis without intervention. Attacks on humans are much more frequent, and leopards have a history of preying on young children left alone at night. Hunting strategies tend to differ as a result of the difference in prey, but there are great similarities too. For large mammalian prey like deer or antelope, Leopards and jaguars use similar stealth approaches. They either sneak up on a victim or wait for victims to come to them while they're trying to blend into their surroundings. When the victim is close, they pounce on them or engage in a very brief chase. Once caught, the cats will use the retractable claws in their front paws to grip victims so they can go for the jugular. Both cats use their powerful jaws to clamp a victim's windpipe shut, causing suffocation. For smaller prey, like monkeys or birds, leopards and jaguars bite to break the neck. However, the jaguar has a special killing move that other big cats don't have. When hunting large prey, the jaguar may favor a quicker execution than choking. In such cases, the jaguar can literally crack skulls and manually turn off brains. It simply positions its deadly jaws at the top of the victim's head and bites down hard. More often than not, the skull gives in and the big cat's big canines deliver a death blow to the brain. Jaguars mainly use this method on caiman. The armored crocodilians have fairly thick necks and choking them out is simply not possible. But even the caiman has vulnerabilities, and the jaguar has studied them well. Ideally, a jaguar will look for a caiman basking on riverbanks because they are easier to wrestle and overpower on land, where the cat is sure-footed. Attacking caiman in the water is much trickier, and larger caiman could even turn the tide on a jaguar and cause serious injury. When a target is spotted, the jaguar will sneak up and sprint toward the caiman from behind to avoid facing the crocodilian's mean set of teeth. When the jaguar gets on top of the caiman, it immediately presses its weight down on the reptile and angles for the killer brain bite. For a seasoned caiman hunter, struggles are usually over in seconds. These unique kills are possible because of another difference between leopards and jaguars: bite force. A leopard has a very high bite force of 300 to 310 pounds per square inch, which is more than enough for strangling prey and tearing flesh off bones. However, a jaguar's bite force can be up to 5 times that at 1,500 psi. That's more than hyenas, bears, and other big cats. This makes the jaguar, pound for pound, a champion among its cousins. Behind this incredible bite force is the jaguar's massive jaw muscles, which contribute to its head's blocky shape. Caiman armor and turtle shells require serious power to breach after all. Jaguars also love marrow, so bone-breaking jaws are a necessary evolution. The last difference between the two animals is that there are many more leopards than jaguars in the wild. Leopards' wider distribution and adaptability means there are up to 800,000 wild leopards in the world. Though far from endangered, there are fewer than 200,000 wild jaguars left. However, conservation efforts mean that we will be able to enjoy these proud and beautiful creatures for quite a while yet. What is the difference between falcons and hawks? Birds of prey are some of the most successful predators on the planet, thanks to their sheer killing efficiency, incredible diversity, and adaptability. And few birds of prey exemplify these traits better than falcons and hawks, which are some of the most prolific killers in the skies. But what makes a bird a falcon? And what makes it a hawk? Is there even a difference? Well, those are just some of a few questions we'll be looking at as we find out the difference between falcons and hawks. Let's go. Falcons. Falcons are birds of prey that are classified under the genus Falco. Their taxonomic family is Falconidae, which is also home to caracaras. We have approximately 40 species of falcons distributed across all major continents except Antarctica. That said, according to fossils, Antarctica was home to falcon-like raptors during the Eocene, which lasted between 56 million and 34 million years ago. Such diversity and distribution means these birds have a fairly wide range of appearances, habitats, and dietary habits, among other things. It's important to note that some falco species may be referred to as hobbies or kestrels rather than falcons. A hobby is the common name for smaller falcon species with long, slender wings. Kestrels, meanwhile, are falcons with a specialized hovering maneuver when hunting or scouting. Falcons are extremely successful predators who are defined by speed, agility, intelligence, keen senses, and ruthless efficiency. Countless critters live in constant fear of carnivore birds, and falcons are usually near the top of the list of raptors to avoid for most animals. These killers feed on all kinds of small mammals, reptiles, fish, frogs, crabs, mollusks, and, of course, other birds. Though exact hunting strategies may differ depending on context and scenario, it's basically a matter of the falcon swooping down from the heavens and unleashing terror with its fearsome beak and talons. Small prey is often snatched away smoothly, almost like a magician's sleight of hand. Larger prey may be harassed and harried to its doom, or systematically slashed by the beak and talons. Some animals that depend on shells, like turtles, may be carried up and dropped from great heights, a move that usually cracks their armor and drastically reduces the odds of survival. Larger birds that are difficult to grab are clubbed using clenched feet. That's right, falcons can punch prey to knock it out of the sky. These birds are generally small to medium-sized raptors. One interesting thing about falcon size is that sexual dimorphism tends to favor females. In other words, female falcons are often significantly bigger than males. The Eurasian hobby, Falco subitio, the most widespread species, is a good-sized guide for the genus as a whole. They range between 11 and 14 inches from beak to tail, 29 and 33 inches in wingspan, and 6.2 to 10 ounces in weight. One species that raises the size averages is the gyrfalcon, Falco rusticolus, the largest species in the world. With a maximum body length of 25 inches and a weight of over 4 pounds, the glorious gyrfalcon is the terror of the Arctic skies. The peregrine falcon, Falco peregrinus, is another pretty big falcon with a wingspan of 29 to 47 inches and a body weight of up to 53 ounces. Of course, the peregrine falcon is also the poster child for another key falcon trait: speed. This bird ranks as the fastest animal on planet Earth. It can easily clock speeds over 200 miles per hour when diving at prey, which mainly includes unsuspecting birds. National Geographic has reported that it has recorded peregrine falcons hitting a Bugatti-esque 242 miles per hour. Naturally, like many birds of prey, falcons have a long storied relationship with humans and human culture. They are a natural pest for farmers who rear small animals like poultry or rabbits, yet can also be a natural ally for farmers who need help getting rid of grain-stealing vermin. The birds also figure prominently in countless traditional cultures around the world. They have been omens, depicted as gods, symbols, and even inspirations for names, familial totems, and institutional logos. Falcon is a pretty good name for school or professional sports teams, too. Falcons have a natural cool factor that has led people to regard them as symbols of freedom, ambition, and success. And of course, there is their role in the aptly named activity of falconry. Falconry is the practice or sport of hunting with tame, trained birds of prey. The basic premise is that the bird is released to scout the area for prey or wait until its handlers flush prey out of hiding. Once the bird spots the quarry, it attacks and delivers the kill to its masters. Falcons have been used in falconry for millennia, and no one is certain who exactly came up with the idea. Falcons are especially suited to this because of how widespread they are, how easy they are to train, and their natural aptitude and enthusiasm for killing things. In the wild, diet mainly depends on location, preferred hunting strategy, and size. Smaller falcons like the Eurasian hobby prey on small birds like swallows and swifts. Larger species like the gyrfalcon prey on larger birds like grouse and mammals like lemmings, hares, ground squirrels, and even Arctic foxes. Widespread and adaptable species like the peregrine falcon hunt anything from pigeons, quails, ducks, mice, snakes, and even pet cats. Hawks. The eyes of a hawk is one of the most common expressions in the English language, and for good reason. These birds do not miss a thing, making them another group of highly successful killer raptors. Unlike falcons, hawks are not neatly classified under one genus. Instead, they're scattered throughout the broader Accipitridae family. This is tricky because other birds of prey like New World vultures, kites, harriers, and eagles are among the family's 75 genera and 256 species. Another major contributor to the confusion is the fact that most casual folks refer to most Accipitridae birds smaller than eagles as hawks. Even falcons, which are in a separate family, sometimes have hawk as part of some localized common name. The peregrine falcon, for instance, is also known as the duck hawk in certain parts of the world. We also can't forget that another word for falconry is hawking, and that traditionally any bird used for the activity was referred to as a hawk. So to make things simpler, taxonomists have settled on two major subfamily groupings to distinguish true hawks, or buzzards, from other accipitrids and birds of prey. The group is Budeonini, or the hawk buzzards, and includes species like Harris's hawk, Parabudeo unicinctus, rufous crab hawk, common buzzard, Budeo budeo, zone-tailed hawk, Budeo albonotatus, and eastern buzzard, Budeo japonicus, among others. The other grouping is the Accipitrini subfamily, or the true hawks, a bunch of species from the Gaber goshawk, Micronissus gaber, long-tailed hawk, Eurotriorchis macrurus, lizard buzzard, Cupifalco monogrammicus, and the shikra, Tachyspiza badia, make up this expansive grouping. However, regardless of the specific subfamily or species, hawks are defined by their sharp angular looks, hooked beaks, and relatively larger and robust builds compared to more slender and sleek falcons. They generally have relatively shorter wingspans than falcons too, as their bodies are often more suited to short, explosive flight than soaring and diving. Of course, like most of the best predators in nature, hawks are pretty adaptable and opportunistic. Their famously sharp eyes never miss a trick thanks to their advanced biotechnology. For example, human eyes have 200,000 photoreceptors compared to a Budeonine hawk's 1 million. Hawks also have more nerves attached to those receptors, and their elongated eyeballs have a longer focal length, which allows them to see much further away. Basically, a hawk's eyesight is 5 to 6 times better than a human's, which allows them to spot tiny prey from great distances. Hawks also score highly on ornithologist Louis Lefebvre's avian IQ test, which is interesting. Hawk intelligence is believed to be comparable to that of cats and dogs. They show remarkable levels of adaptability, improvisation, and problem-solving skills when food is involved. Given their near-global distribution, it's fair to say that hawks are just as adaptable as falcons when it comes to habitat. However, many Budeonine hawks are better suited to wide-open areas, allowing them to soar and scout for prey with minimal obstruction. Because of this, Budeonine hawks have relatively larger wings and shorter tails than accipitrine hawks. Accipitrine birds are quite different, however. Most species in this group are far more comfortable in woodland environments where they use their exceptional visual acuity to discern prey amidst its surroundings. Hawks in this subfamily also have short, broad wings and long tails to facilitate short, agile flying between the trees. Prey is highly variable and dependent on luck and location, though some species like to specialize in certain prey animals. Hawks generally go after rodents, lizards, snakes, other birds, fish, rabbits, squirrels, crabs, and amphibians. Various killing techniques are used, and most involve their needle-sharp talons and beaks. Prey can be impaled, slashed, clubbed, or dropped from the sky, depending on what the situation calls for. However, unlike falcons, which swoop and dive constantly during hunts, hawks prefer gliding overhead before going in for the kill. It's also important to note that hawk beaks lack the falcon's tomial tooth, which is used to sever necks. That said, despite their strong hunting prowess, hawks are not above scavenging the odd bit of carrion. This is especially true during the energy-sapping rearing of chicks, a period that requires both male and female hawks to constantly go out and forage for themselves and their young. That's right, like many bird species, hawks parent cooperatively, with several species even mating for life. Chicks are wholly dependent on their parents for the first few months of their lives, but are ready to start flying at around 6 weeks old. Like falcons, hawks are commonly tied to various aspects of human culture. The word hawk has been used to name iconic Native American warriors and chiefs in countless military operations and tools, and in sports teams, like Atlanta's Hawks basketball team. The hawk is a globally recognized symbol of aggression and intensity, and that won't change anytime soon. Of course, humans have also hunted with hawks since time immemorial. This falconry, or hawking, has traditional roots in multiple regions, including Asia and the Americas. The birds are highly trainable, and their natural affinity for hunting and intelligence makes them a relative breeze to work with. What is the difference between bull sharks and tiger sharks? Sharks are some of nature's most formidable and efficient killers, and their deadly skills have rightfully earned them a fearsome reputation in both animal and human circles. Today, we're taking a closer look at two of the most iconic shark species haunting the world's waters: bull sharks and tiger sharks. What is the reality behind these two fishes' infamy? Are they really that dangerous? What are the key similarities and differences between them? Well, let's talk about it all. This is just the beginning. Subscribe now and dive deeper into the wild with us. Bull shark. Bull sharks are an iconic species of requiem shark, which are basically warm water-loving, live pup-bearing, and migratory sharks of the Carcharhinidae family. To scientists who study it, the bull shark is known as Carcharhinus leucus. However, local people across its native range have given it countless other names. For instance, it is known as the zombie in southern Africa. In India, it is the Ganges river shark, and in Nicaragua, it is the Lake Nicaragua shark. Other names are the Swan River shark, freshwater whaler, cub shark, and Van Rooyen's shark. One attribute that makes bull sharks especially fascinating is their affinity for freshwater life. These massive beasts spend a lot of time in estuaries, rivers, and even lakes. Despite being able to live in lakes or rivers, bull sharks are not regarded as true freshwater sharks like the river sharks of the Glyphis genus. All things being equal, Glyphis sharks tend to live in freshwater full-time, which is in stark contrast to bull sharks, which alternate between life in rivers or at sea. That said, bull sharks that are cut off from the ocean can still live in fresh water for a long time, but this often greatly diminishes life expectancy. Unlike many other sharks, bull sharks can regulate their body's salt levels when in freshwater. For example, their rectal glands are less active in freshwater, which restricts the amount of sodium and chloride lost when they poop. Their kidneys are also extra absorptive of these salts, and their livers can produce saltier urea when they are in freshwater environments. The gills, too, are also crucial for picking up any salts they can when the shark moves through rivers or lakes. All in all, a bull shark can live in freshwater continuously for at least 4 years. However, sharks that were restricted to salt water have been found to have drastically shrunken livers compared to sharks that roamed freely between marine and freshwater. This shrinkage is likely a result of the liver's nonstop urea production. Additionally, bull sharks' preference for a certain kind of aquatic home is heavily influenced by age. Younger sharks are born in brackish and freshwater areas, but develop a greater tolerance to saltwater as they grow and age. Movement between salt and fresh water is also a big part of bull shark reproduction. Adults mate in late summer to early autumn, and they do so in estuaries or bays. After a 12-month gestation, females give birth to litters of 1 to a baker's dozen of live pups in river mouths or lagoons. Naturally, the name bull shark is related to its bulk, robustness, and bad boy or bad girl attitude. It is part of a fearsome big three, along with great white sharks and tiger sharks, because of these species' tendency to attack humans. Bull sharks are widely regarded to be the most dangerous of all shark species to humans because of their aggressive nature and relative proximity to people. Fatalities are extremely rare, though, but they can happen. Their size is another reason why they're dangerous. Interestingly, females are bigger than males, sometimes significantly so. The maximum recorded sizes for bull sharks are a body length of 13 feet and a weight of 990 pounds. That said, averages for fully grown females are around 8 feet long and around 290 pounds of bulk. Males are typically around 7 feet long and 210 pounds in weight. A typical bull shark has a gray upper body and a white underbody, which is ideal camouflage for a wide range of environments. And this camo is definitely effective, because the bull shark lives and thrives all around the world, in both marine and freshwater environments. These sharks have been documented in freshwater bodies as far inland as 700 miles. In the sea, the bull shark is largely coastal. It operates in reefs, lagoons, and other nearshore environments. Its comfort in shallow waters also means it comes into contact with humans relatively more frequently than other large sharks. The shark is an apex predator of great renown. Its menu is broad and flexible, consisting of everything from bony fish, turtles, crustaceans, cephalopods, birds, dolphins, seals, and even terrestrial animals like your dog or hamster. Their gray upper bodies make them hard to see in murky water. The sharks themselves feel their way through the clouded water until they bump into something edible. They then keep nipping and biting at prey until it's crippled or dead. This hunting strategy is known as the bump and bite technique. And when it comes to biting, few animals on Earth can match the bull shark. These ancient predators have a renowned bite force of up to 1,350 pounds per square inch (psi), which helps them grip prey and crush shells or bones with minimum fuss. The teeth themselves are very sharp and serrated, which is perfect for puncturing and ripping flesh. Like many big sharks, the teeth are highly replaceable, and each tooth has several rows of replacement teeth behind it. The bull shark is an iconic part of aquatic life, and several cultures respect and admire it for its strength and aggression. Unfortunately, that same aggressive nature has also made it a prime target for shark culls. It is often a prime suspect whenever someone gets bitten by a shark at the beach or in a river. They sometimes get the rap for other sharks' crimes. As a result of this culling, the bull shark is now listed as vulnerable by the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN. Tiger shark. Arguably the most beautiful of the fearsome big three, the tiger shark is a legendary apex predator of the world's temperate and tropical seas. Inarguably, it is the most opportunistic and cunning shark you can encounter in the open ocean. Known as Galeocerdo cuvier to taxonomists, the tiger has been around for the best part of 50 million years, since the early Eocene epoch. Prowling, lurking, scheming, this elegant shark is best suited to the shadows because of its remarkable senses. Even full moonlight struggles to betray the beast, as the shadowy ripples are the perfect hiding place for its striped enormity. Once again, it's ladies first at a tiger shark banquet. Females are sometimes twice as big as already huge males. Bigger is always better. The really big gals regularly get past 16 feet, while males max out at around 13 feet. The record is around 18 feet. Weight ranges between 700 and 2,000 pounds. While pregnant, females can be up to 2,900 pounds or more. Reports of near 4,000-pound tigers are quite common, but not scientifically confirmed. Some publications around the globe have even reported 7,000-pound specimens, but haters might think that's just a little bit of media clout chasing. As a widespread species, there's no telling how big they can get. Tiger sharks also have a very sleek and elongated profile, which ends in a magnificently sleek tail fin. Fun fact: tiger shark tail fins get more symmetrical as they age. That means if the top fin is way longer than the bottom, you're looking at a growing boy or girl. Another thing that changes with age is the striping, which fades over time. This defining feature is a fearsome sign for many of the ocean's creatures. Tiger sharks go after everything. Like every single thing out there. Fish, seals, crabs, lobsters, snails, dolphins, whales, octopi, squid, birds, snakes, crocodilians, iguanas, any meat-based carrion, surfers, and scientists. They will also eat inanimate objects like boots, fish hooks, or even car license plates. They have a slow and deceptively lethargic way of moving around when foraging and patrolling. But don't be fooled. The slow and subtle movement is perfect for lulling prey into a false sense of security when the tiger is scouting and foraging. When the shark selects a target, the massive tail generates incredible horsepower, propelling it to speeds over 20 miles per hour in short bursts. Prey animals have the unfortunate privilege of being gripped and ripped by strong, serrated teeth. Interestingly, tiger shark teeth are slanted, with the tips pointing sideways, kind of how you'd hold a knife when cutting up some meat. This unique dental layout is perfect for slicing off chunks from victims, even when said victims are still alive and trying to flee. The sideways tooth profile also allows tiger sharks to exert more blunt force on hard things like shells and bones. Essentially, a tiger shark can use its teeth to slice by violently thrashing its head while biting, or it can crush shells and skulls by simply chomping with its impressive 1,000 psi bite force. Once again, A succession of teeth awaits behind any that may happen to fall out. Big sharks are notorious for going through hundreds and thousands of teeth throughout their lifetimes, and the tiger is no different. As apex predators, they have little to worry about once fully grown. They are too slick for any great white to catch, but determined killer whales are a menace on occasion. Like real tigers, tiger sharks' main concern is human beings. The age-old tradition of finning has done a real number on the species. They are currently classified as near threatened by the IUCN, a tier better than the bull shark. But these hardened survivors are more than ready for a fight. They've survived bigger and meaner things than humans over the millennia, ages, and epochs. Today, the tiger shark is regarded as a threat to people, and beaches where they are common are often littered with warnings. After-hours diving, surfing, and splashing are discouraged or even banned in such places. That said, significant attacks are very rare, and fatalities are basically zero in modern times. There are a maximum of about 5 bite incidents reported annually, and injuries are seldom serious. The greatest risk is around late summer and early autumn, when pregnant females come near shore to give birth. The last major tiger shark attack was back in 2003, when 13-year-old surf champion Bethany Hamilton was mauled and lost her left arm to a big tiger. Tiger sharks are far less dangerous to humans because they are exclusive to saltwater and do not encounter people as frequently as the freshwater-ready bull shark. What is the difference between tigers and lions? Lions and tigers are the undisputed rulers of their domains, striking fear into the hearts of anyone unlucky enough to be their neighbor. Millions of years of evolution and adaptation have refined these large cats into some of nature's most efficient killing machines. But how do they stack up in a side-by-side comparison? Are there really any notable differences? Let's talk about it. Lions. The lion, also known as Panthera leo, or the king of beasts, is a large cat. A very large and ferocious cat, in fact. Like all cats, they belong to the Felidae family. This means they sleep all the time, love grooming themselves or each other, are very likely to ruin your couch, and are very good at ending other animals with their sharp claws and teeth. Lions are native to much of sub-Saharan Africa and parts of Eurasia, but their range is greatly diminished these days. In Asia, you only find them in the Gir National Park in Gujarat, India. Fewer than 1,000 Asiatic lions remain in the wild. In Africa, lions are also in decline, but still far from critical endangerment. They range from East Africa to much of southern Africa, bar the Namib and Kalahari deserts. These days, almost all wild lions live in national parks or protected areas. However, some towns and cities on the continent are in close proximity to true free-roaming lions, which is pretty nerve-wracking. There have been several subspecies, but they are all pretty much the same apart from a few subtle differences. They range quite a bit in size depending on genetics, age, and abundance of food. Males are much larger than females, ranging between 350 and 496 pounds in weight and reaching 10 feet in body length. Their tails add an additional 32 to 37 inches. They can be up to 4 feet tall at the shoulder. Females are significantly smaller than males, which has its pros and cons. They can weigh anywhere between 240 and 316 pounds. Another major differentiator is the mane. The mane is a bushy, beard-like feature that only males have. This extra fuzz covers the head, shoulders, and neck, making it a form of natural armor in a world of violence. Manes range in size, style, and coloration. Some are almost entirely blonde tawny, others are entirely black, and others are mishmashes of blacks, browns, and rusty reds. Male white lions also grow luxurious platinum manes. In the wild, these big kitties prefer open grasslands and sparse woodlands. The grass is the perfect background for their coats, while open space allows lions to use their numbers more effectively. These grasslands are home to a broad range of game, including deer, pigs, hares, zebra, buffalo, giraffe, and even elephants. Lions are highly adaptable hunters who employ different tactics to tackle different prey and hunting scenarios. They are territorial and social, living in groups called prides. Prides are made up of 2 or more lionesses, cubs, and at least one dominant male. Males without prides are nomadic and exist on the borders of pride territories. Pride males are very aggressive and protective of their home ranges. They routinely patrol territory borders, applying fresh scent markings and making long-distance warning roars to would-be invaders. After all, if a nomad or a coalition of nomads defeats a resident male, the new kings immediately execute the old king's cubs. This brutality effectively ends a defeated lineage and forces the females into estrus much sooner. All in all, a male can expect a 2 to 3 year reign as head of pride before being ousted by someone younger, stronger, or with more backup. Nomads sometimes form coalitions with their brothers or fellow nomads to improve the chances of securing and keeping a pride. And why is pride life so attractive? Well, there is the massive real estate. Lion territories can be up to 150 square miles, which means great access to prey and water. Pride life also comes with females. Not only are lionesses the life givers of future generations, but they are the main breadwinners of the pride. Their smaller frames and lack of manes make them better at stalking and pursuing prey. Lioness hunt squads are hierarchical, with older and more experienced females calling the shots and educating the rookies. Male lions rarely do the hunting, unless some extra muscle is required to bring down a stubborn buffalo or something. Most of the time, males are off patrolling the territory or watching over the family's cubs. Tiger. Like lions, tigers are massive wild cats that are often linked with royalty and nobility. In fact, Panthera tigris is the largest cat species in the world, pipping its maned cousin to the top spot. The tiger's superior size and actual residence in dense forests have led many to call it the true king of the jungle. There are several subspecies, but taxonomists can't ever agree on just how many. Notable examples are the Siberian tiger, Bengal tiger, and Sumatran tiger. Island subspecies like the Sumatran have adapted smaller sizes compared to their continental cousins, likely a result of insular dwarfism. Tigers have historically lived in various habitats throughout Asia, but today they have a greatly smaller range. They live in Siberia, parts of China, the Himalayas, India, and throughout Southeast Asia. The International Union for the Conservation of Nature, IUCN, lists the tiger as endangered, and there are fewer than 5,000 individuals left in the wild. Tigers usually live in different kinds of forests: deciduous, evergreen, rainforest, dry forest, and others. They may also be found in swamps, plains, and mountain woodlands. These environments are perfect because they provide a lot of vegetation and shadows that suit the tiger's brown coat and black stripes. Its iconic stripes are unique identifiers for individuals, just like how your fingerprint is unique to you. The stripes are skin deep and visible even when the animal is shaved. This is because the colored hair follicles are embedded in the skin. These cats are highly adaptable, intelligent, and physically powerful. This combination is why they are apex predators, even in wildlands teeming with bears, wolves, and even lions. They range in size depending on the subspecies and sex. Sumatran tigers are the smallest, with a weight range of 165 to 243 pounds. Siberian tigers are the largest cats on Earth and can weigh nearly 600 pounds in some cases. However, exceptionally large specimens are fewer and fewer because of hunters and habitat loss. Male tigers are larger than females of the same subspecies, with the girls about 2/3 the size of the boys. Tigers are also supreme athletes. They can reach speeds of 40 miles per hour in short bursts and launch themselves 16 feet in the air. Combined with stealth and camouflage that allows them to get within whispering distance of prey, these physical attributes make the tiger virtually unstoppable. Running into the water won't save you either. Unlike your house cat, tigers love water, and they are very strong swimmers. They often dive into rivers, lakes, and even the sea to fish and look for crabs. They also have the biggest weaponry in the feline kingdom. Sharp, retractable claws allow it to climb and grip prey, while sharp teeth are the ultimate killing tool. They also have scissor-like carnassials that slice off juicy chunks of flesh. Prey ranges from pigs, deer, monkeys, birds, fish, crocodilians, water buffalo, and juvenile elephants. Smaller prey like monkeys and birds usually have their necks snapped instantly, while larger prey like deer are suffocated. Like lions, tigers are highly territorial. Their territories are also quite large, affording them plenty of land to hunt, play, and reproduce. Unlike lions, tigers are solitary cats. They mainly come together to breed or to fight over territory. Males have larger territories and will allow females' territories to overlap with theirs and even socialize briefly or share food. However, most of a tiger's life is led in quiet solitude. How are they different? These animals differ in quite a few ways. For starters, there is size. While lions are larger on average, the largest tiger subspecies, like Bengal and Siberian tigers, are larger than even the biggest lions. This also means tigers have bigger claws and bigger skulls housing bigger teeth. Tigers also have greater muscle mass per pound than lions. Approximately 72% of a tiger's body mass is pure protein, with only 7.7% body fat. Lions have about 58% muscle mass and 14% body fat. Then there is coloration and patterns. Lions are generally light brown or tawny in color. Male lions have manes that range from tawny to black. Meanwhile, tigers have coats with a darker shade of brown and a unique pattern of stripes from the tail to the face. Both lions and tigers may develop white coats in rare circumstances due to a lack of their normal pigmentation in the follicles. However, white tigers still have stripes. White lions do not have any markings. Tigers, male or otherwise, do not grow manes, so it is not always easy to tell males from females at face value. Scientists believe male lions developed manes because they fight each other more often than other big cats, and slowly grew a kind of protection. Habitat also differs. Lions prefer open grasslands that suit their prides and coloration. On rare occasions, they will live in sparse forests and mountains. They hardly ever live in dense forests. In Africa especially, most of the large game live in or near open grassland, and lions often need to kill large prey to sustain their numbers. Tigers are almost the opposite. They prefer forests because the shadows are the perfect hiding spot for stalking prey. As solitary hunters, they can easily stalk the jungle floor without making noise, and they can live off the smaller animals that live in forests. Home range is another thing. Apart from the few Asian lions left in India, most lions live in sub-Saharan Africa. Tigers live in India, Russia, and Southeast Asia. Tigers also have a slight edge in athleticism. Their higher muscle mass and lower body fat mean tigers can run faster and jump further than lions, but not by much. Lions are well-honed hunters of zebra, wildebeest, and buffalo, so that means they have more than enough athleticism themselves. Next is sociability. Lions are very social and form prides with up to 40 members. Nomadic lions spend years trying to secure a place in a pride and even form bachelor coalitions to achieve this goal. Tigers are largely solitary and establish solitary territories. Tigers are only seen together when mating, rearing cubs, clashing, or during random chance encounters. Tigers also have greater bite force than their cousins. The striped cats have been recorded exerting around 1,050 pounds per square inch (psi) of pressure, while lions have a bite force of 650 psi. What is the difference between honey badgers and wolverines? The weasel family is home to a bunch of interesting critters. Polecats, martens, and weasels themselves are renowned for feistiness and cunning that belie their relatively small sizes. But today, we're going to be looking at two of the largest and fiercest of this ancient family, wolverines and honey badgers. What's the deal with these two? How does one identify one from another? Well, that's what we're here to find out as we examine all there is to know about the respective species and what makes each of them special. Let's get started. Honey badgers. The honey badger, or Mellivora capensis, is a large member of the Mustelidae family, which is also known as the weasel family. However, the honey badger is the only species within the Mellivorini subfamily and Mellivora genus. Honey badger is the more common name for this feisty critter, but they are also known as rattles. The genus name Mellivora is Latin for honey eater. The origins of the term rattle are less clear, but the main theory is it is from the Dutch term rot, which means honeycomb. The species name capensis is a nod to the Cape of Good Hope where the badgers were discovered. While known as badgers, genetic evidence suggests that these animals are more closely related to martens than to true badgers of the Melini subfamily. Honey badgers and other mellivora animals have been around since the Middle Pleistocene, which was about 7 million years ago. The first showed up in Asia, and multiple species have walked the Earth on the scene over the millennia. However, we are only left with Capensis and its subspecies these days. As far as subspecies, we have 12 that are officially recognized and distributed throughout sub-Saharan Africa, Arabia, and parts of India. Some of these are the Cape honey badger, Mellivora capensis capensis, and the Indian rattle, Mellivora capensis indica. Honey badgers are the 5th largest mustelids on Earth today, and only giant otters, wolverines, European badgers, and hog badgers are larger. Males are larger than females, and they occupy the upper end of the species' weight range of 14 to 26 pounds. Body length ranges from 22 to 30 inches, while tails are anywhere between 4.7 and 11.8 inches long. Shoulder height is between 9.1 and 11 inches. On rare occasions, some exceptionally large specimens may pop out, especially in highly favorable places and conditions. The honey badger has a long and strong body and short legs. Its muzzle is typical of the weasel family, and it has small, beady eyes and short ears. There are 5 toes on each foot, as well as 5 claws used for moving objects and digging. Then there's the honey badger's famous skin, which is both thick and loose. The thickness protects the animal from bites and other attacks, while the looseness grants the honey badger the flexibility to swivel around and bite back in self-defense. Honey badgers are quite varied when it comes to coloration and patterning, but most are black with streaks of white and gray. One subspecies, the black rattle, is completely black. These animals have long, rough hairs that are thickest along the sides and back. Honey badger teeth are also typical of mustelids and carnivorans as a whole, with sharp canines for piercing and grip, and carnassials for slicing and dicing flesh. The jaws provide sufficient power to break bones and even crush shells. All honey badgers are highly opportunistic carnivores that go after different types of insects, snakes, lizards, birds, eggs, and more. They will also scavenge carrion and eat larger animals if they are sick, dying, or otherwise vulnerable. These efficient critters can even consume and digest hair and bone. Away from meat and eggs, honey badgers are also huge fans of honey, and they routinely raid some of the world's most dangerous hives for the sweet substance. Their tough hides and thick skin are the ultimate protection against stinging bees. Besides honey, honey badgers also partake in fruits and root vegetables. After following their keen noses, honey badgers often have to use their trusty claws to unearth food. These claws are used to dig up prey burrows and to expose hives. In areas close to human settlements, the badgers use their claws to break into livestock and poultry houses. Another interesting part of the honey badger is its backside, particularly its anal scent glands. These glands are used for self-defense and marking territory. When threatened, honey badgers can release a foul-smelling discharge that overwhelms the nostrils of attackers and buys some precious escape time. As a result of their feisty attitudes and stinky rear ends, honey badgers are mostly solitary animals. However, males and females can live and forage alongside each other for brief stints. These mustelids live in shallow underground burrows. They can either dig these themselves or wrestle them from other animals. Adult honey badgers are territorial, with males having larger territories than females. A male's domain can intersect several female territories. Breeding is not restricted to any particular time of the year because females can go into heat at any time. After mating, females are pregnant for up to 70 days and give birth to 1 or 2 cubs. Born blind and helpless, honey badger cubs suckle until they are ready to begin foraging, which is about 12 weeks old. They stay with their mother until they are just over a year old. And unfortunately, honey badger cubs have a low survival rate of just 37%. Their native African and Indian home ranges expose them to predators like hyenas, big cats, humans, wolves, pythons, and other honey badgers. Male honey badgers kill each other's cubs to free up the mothers for mating, and cubs occasionally eat each other when rough play gets a little too real. Naturally, starvation is another major threat when times are especially tough. Females reach sexual maturity soon after independence, while males reach sexual maturity between 2 and 3 years of age. Lifespan in the wild is unclear, but honey badgers can live as long as 24 years in captivity. Because of its tough background and environment, the honey badger has evolved to be a tough and relentless survivor. Fear is a weakness they cannot afford, and they often choose to play the role of valiant underdogs. They have been documented attacking large, dangerous animals like hyenas and even lions in self-defense. They fight and kill some of the world's deadliest snakes, and their natural resistance to venom is a huge advantage in such encounters. Additionally, their dense fur and thick skin make it difficult for snakes to bite them properly in the first place. Even humans may be attacked if deemed a threat. They are fiercely protective of their dens and young, and you might get a sharp nip on the ankles if you get too close. Wolverines. The wolverine, aka gulo gulo, is another large member of the weasel family, Mustelidae. In fact, it is the largest mustelid that lives on land, while the giant otter is the largest family member outright. This family classification means that it is a fairly close cousin of the honey badger. And like the honey badger, the wolverine is defined by its undeterrable attitude and toughness. These critters are in the least concern category in animal conservation records thanks to their wide northern hemisphere distribution. They're distributed from the Arctic regions of North America to northern Europe and Siberia. All in all, their home ranges are in far colder regions than the warm weather areas that honey badgers live in. Their thick, fluffy coats help them endure freezing temperatures, while their equally thick paws and strong claws are made for wading through thick snow. Like honey badgers, they have tough jaws and digestive systems that allow them to maximize feeding opportunities in areas where opportunities are extremely elusive. Wolverines have a well-earned reputation for ferocity, fearlessness, and a near untamable nature. They are known for attacking large predators like wolves and bears, especially when threatened or when food is on the line. It's only natural for Marvel Comics to name one of its most iconic heroes after this fearless winter survivor. Wolverines have a shoulder height of around 1.5 feet when on all fours. They can measure up to 45 inches from nose to tail and weigh as much as 40 pounds. Males are generally larger than females, though females are no less violent and fearless. Female wolverines may fight to the death to defend themselves and their babies. Wolverines are largely carnivorous, but they occasionally eat plant matter like fruits and leaves during the warmer seasons. Their main modus operandi for finding food is scavenging the kills of other predators and opportunistic predation. Wolverines eat any animal they can kill or any carcass they come across. This diverse palate includes deer, birds, rabbits, foxes, fish, squirrels, and even rival predators. They will also raid bird nests for eggs. Cannibalism is not off the table for this species either. As far as hunting, wolverines have been known to pursue and kill prey as big as deer and even bear cubs. Newborn deer fawns are a favored treat in the spring. Wolverines also love bone marrow and are equipped with jaws that can help them get it. They forage constantly, and they will cover as much as 15 miles a day, sniffing, digging, climbing, and chasing after food. Their high metabolism means they need to search for food constantly, and this has earned them the name gulo gulo, or glutton. Wolverines have a set of 38 strong teeth, including 4 sharp canines for puncturing. They have a reported bite force of about 50 pounds per square inch. They also have 5 sharp claws on each foot for digging or holding on to prey and enemies in battle. The wolverine is known for its brutal hack-and-slash attacking style, which is meant to shock and awe opponents or prey before they know what hit them. They mainly aim to tear an opponent or prey animal to pieces with overwhelming ferocity. Wolverines can also be sneaky when stealth is required, and they've been known to pounce on animals from rocks and trees. Like badgers, wolverines also have anal scent glands that produce a strong, pungent smell that disorients would-be attackers. Sometimes, stinking up the place and running to safety is wiser than taking on massive grizzly bears or tigers. Wolverines are much faster than their sluggish walk suggests, with a top speed of 30 miles per hour in short bursts. They're also fairly strong swimmers and seasoned climbers. two traits honey badgers are not known for. They also look quite different from honey badgers, with thicker fur and larger, more pointed ears. The fur is a mishmash of black, rust, and brown compared to the black and white honey badger. Wolverines are also a bit more carnivorous, though both animals do partake in plant-based foods from time to time. Habitat is another major difference. Wolverines live in the colder north, and they tend to stick to forests and tundras. Honey badgers live in warmer areas like Asia and Africa, and they are found in a wider range of habitats like grasslands, deserts, and various woodlands and forests. What is the difference between Kodiak bears and grizzly bears? Brown bears are the most widely distributed bear species on the planet today, and they are rightly recognized as icons throughout much of this vast range. But did you know that not all brown bears are the same? That's right, there are quite a few differences between the different brown bear subspecies we have today. In today's video, we are focusing on North America's most famous brown bears, the Kodiak and the grizzly, and the differences between them. Let's go. Grizzly bear. The grizzly bear, or Ursus arctos horribilis, is the most common brown bear in North America. Also known as the North American brown bear, this animal creates a bunch of confusion around what is and isn't a true grizzly. For starters, many North Americans often refer to any brown bear in or outside the continent as grizzlies. It also doesn't help that animals like Ursus arctos gaius and the extinct Ursus arctos californicus and Ursus arctos nelsoni are also known as the peninsular grizzly, California grizzly, and Mexican grizzly respectively. Even the other subject of today's video, the Kodiak bear, is sometimes referred to as the Kodiak grizzly. However, for the purposes of this video, grizzly refers to the mainland grizzly bear, horribilis. There are two main theories for where the term grizzly came from. One is that it refers to the grizzled mishmash of brown, black, and grayish hairs that make up the animal's coat. Another theory is that the bear is named for its grisly nature of ripping animals and humans to bloody shreds. The modern spelling favors the first theory, but taxonomists still made sure to name it horribilis, to underline that it is a horribly dangerous creature. Traditionally, grizzly bears were ubiquitous throughout North America's northern, central, western, and southern regions. Today, they're mostly found in central and western Canada and the northwestern parts of the United States. Grizzly bears are further split into coastal grizzlies and inland grizzlies, which is of course based on geographic location. However, there are some considerable differences between the two groups, especially when it comes to size. Coastal grizzlies are a bit larger than their inland cousins, and the general belief is that it's because coastal bears have greater access to seafood, like oceanic salmon. All in all, though, grizzlies are very variable in size. Males are significantly larger than females within similar regions. Time of the year also has a great influence on size too. Bears emerging from winter hibernation are quite shrunken compared to how they look after bulking up in spring, summer, and autumn. Therefore, grizzly bear body weight can range from 209 pounds to 858 pounds. Body length is usually between 78 and 94 inches. Shoulder height averages about 40 inches, and bipedal standing height is up to 9 feet. Looking at these ranges, one can figure that bulked-up coastal males occupy the higher end of the size spectrum, while post-hibernation inland females are at the lower end. Grizzly cubs weigh about 16 ounces at birth, but can reach 100 pounds by the time they are a year old. Like all other brown bears, grizzlies are descended from the Eurasian brown bears that first diverged from prehistoric cave bears around 1.4 to 1.2 million years ago. Then, thanks to the Bering Land Bridge, some of these brown bears made their way to North America and diverged into North American subspecies like grizzlies. These migrations are believed to have taken place between 177,000 and 111,000 years ago. They have lived alongside and outlived an unimaginable number of impressive animals during their stay in North America. American lions, saber-toothed cats, dire wolves, and giant short-faced bears are just some of the fearsome beasts the grizzlies shared ecosystems with, often with bloody consequences. Today, they reign as the largest carnivorous animals in much of their range, though polar bears, themselves close relatives of all brown bears, reign supreme in the Arctic regions of North America. Unlike their polar cousins, though, grizzlies are better classified as omnivores, since they are far less reliant on meat. They have a far less specialized menu, which includes berries, grasses, bark, roots, veggies, and many kinds of fruit. Of course, they will hardly pass up an opportunity for meat. These bears go after insects, rodents, birds, eggs, reptiles, fish, and mammals of all shapes and sizes, including other bears. Males are the biggest threat to cubs that aren't their own, a common theme among bears as a whole. Breeding is a highly competitive affair, with males engaging in brutal fights to secure territories with the best access to females. Claws, teeth, and weight are all used to assert dominance, and these clashes sometimes end in death. Mating occurs in summer, but embryo implantation is delayed until the female takes in enough nutrition and finds a secure den ahead of winter hibernation. Gestation periods for grizzlies range from 180 to 250 days depending on several factors, and cubs are always born when the female is hibernating. Though largely solitary, female bears stay with their cubs for about 2 years before letting them go off alone. However, due to factors like limited resources or low bear population, females may not mate again for up to 3 years after their cubs leave for good. The grizzly bear is a legendary species throughout its home range. In addition to being the most feared creature in the great American wilderness, it is also a symbol of strength, freedom, cunning, and tenacity. It also played a significant role in countless native cultures and cultural practices. Kodiak bears. The Kodiak bear is both a victim and perpetuator of the confusion surrounding what is a grizzly bear or isn't. By virtue of being native to North America, Kodiak bears are often referred to as grizzlies as well. However, this brown bear subspecies is considered to be a totally separate animal from the horribilis grizzly. Instead, the Kodiak bear is known as Ursus arctos middendorfi to taxonomists. That said, the best way to tell a Kodiak bear from a grizzly bear is to know where you are. If you are in the mainland US or Canada, there is an extremely high chance that any wild brown bear you encounter is a grizzly and not a Kodiak. That's because wild Kodiak bears are exclusively found on Alaska's Kodiak Island archipelago and not on the mainland. They have been isolated on these islands since at least 10,000 years ago, around the end of the last ice age. However, much like other North American brown bears, Kodiaks are descended from Eurasian bears that trekked across the prehistoric land bridge and diverged into the bears we know today. That means Kodiaks are still very closely related to grizzlies, and they share common ancestry with polar bears. And speaking of polar bears, Kodiaks are the only other bears that can come close to matching them in size. Females are smaller than males, but still range from 399 to 701 pounds, while males are between 600 to 1,400 pounds. Some especially large males can reach or exceed 1,500 pounds during the pre-hibernation bulk. The tallest Kodiaks also reach heights of 9.8 feet on their hind legs, which is a bit taller than grizzlies. In some cases, Kodiaks can be more than twice the size of their mainland kin. The largest ever Kodiak bear was a few meals short of weighing a whole metric ton. Ultimately, the Kodiak is the second largest bear walking the earth today and the largest brown bear subspecies overall. Part of the reason why these bears are so huge is a phenomenon called island gigantism. Basically, the bear's island isolation separates them from factors that limit the growth of mainland bears. Things like predation by other animals, disease, habitat loss, and overhunting by humans are less prevalent on the Kodiak Islands, and this has allowed the bears to thrive and grow to tremendous sizes. Conservation data backs this up too, as the Kodiak bear is one of the very few brown bear subspecies with population numbers that have been increasing steadily over the past 2 decades. Another reason why Kodiak bears are so large may be linked to the reason why coastal grizzlies are bigger than inland grizzlies. As island bears, all Kodiak bears are pretty much coastal bears too. and they benefit tremendously from the perks of being close to the sea. Salmon, beached whales, cephalopods, and an assortment of crabs and shellfish are fat and protein-rich food sources that go a long way to fueling tremendous growth. Despite their remarkable sizes, Kodiak bears retain many of the same behavioral traits found in brown bears as a whole. They are confident, intelligent, ferocious, and opportunistic animals who know what it takes to survive. Though largely solitary, Kodiaks have a far more tolerant disposition than mainland brown bears. The relative confinement of the Kodiak Islands and the relative abundance of food make constant violence a lose-lose scenario for many individuals. Therefore, truces are often called for the sake of peacefully stocking up ahead of the true enemy, winter. You can find dozens of bears foraging in very close proximity, with only a bit of grumbling and posturing when testy individuals cross paths. It seems that Kodiak bears have developed rudimentary communication skills, cues, and gestures to at least coexist when foraging is good. However, peace is not always on the cards. Males are the biggest perpetrators of violence, both to each other and to the offspring of other males. In fact, the Kodiak bear's main natural predator is other, bigger Kodiaks. Females with cubs are still the main threat to humans, though. Mama bears will charge at people without a second's hesitation if they feel a threat to their offspring. Like grizzly bears, Kodiaks are icons of their homeland. They are respected and acknowledged by both modern and traditional native cultures for their incredible sizes, power, and intelligence. Some Native American tribes regard these bears as important figures in spirituality and the spiritual realms. What is the difference between African lions and Asian lions? Lions, the mighty kings and queens of the jungle, the living, breathing, and killing definition of what apex predation is all about. Many of you are pretty familiar with the wild lions of Africa's sprawling savannas and scrubland. But did you know that there are lions in Asia too? That's right, the tiger isn't the only big cat prowling the wilds of the largest continent. With that in mind, we decided on a fun idea, a quick comparison between the lions of Africa and their Asian cousins. What are the similarities? What are the differences? Let's find out, shall we? African lion. The African lion, or Panthera leo, is the largest cat in Africa and the second largest on Earth behind tigers. Africa is home to two main subspecies, Panthera leo in West and Central Africa, and Panthera leo melanochaeta of East and Southern Africa. Lions are the most feared and revered animal on the continent, and perhaps the most iconic animal in the world. Known as the king of the jungle or king of beasts, lions are apex predators of remarkable ferocity and power, employing a variety of bloody tactics to win the unforgiving game of survival. These large cats are synonymous with savanna environments, as they typically establish kingdoms in open grasslands, scrublands, and sparse woodlands throughout sub-Saharan Africa. Lions are also unique among wild cats because of their capacity to live, hunt, and cooperate within groups full-time. These groups are called prides, made up of female lions, their offspring, and a dominant male or two. A pride usually has a clearly defined territorial home range, which is defended with brutal force. Dominant pride males are often responsible for marking out the boundaries of their pride's territory through the use of scent markings and warning roars to would-be invaders. When a strange lion, particularly a male, enters a pride territory, the resident king immediately confronts the stranger to drive them off or kill them. If the invader is a challenging male, he fights the resident pride male for kingship in a winner-takes-all clash. If the invader loses, he must flee or risk being mutilated or killed. If the resident male loses, he faces the same fate, plus the knowledge that his offspring will be slaughtered by the new king to drive the females to estrus. Female lions, commonly known as lionesses, are chiefly responsible for putting food on the table. With smaller bodies and no manes, lionesses are better suited to stalking through tall grass undetected and have the stamina and speed required to catch their usually pacey prey. Teams of lionesses employ a variety of prey and scenario-based tactics to hunt and kill their food. Most of these hunting strategies involve herding or luring prey towards an ambush where the lion's numbers can maximize their odds of success. Male lions may contribute on hunts on occasion if they're not patrolling the territorial boundaries or at home watching the cubs, but this is generally rare. Big males are more likely to help when hunting very large animals that don't require much stalking, such as buffalo, giraffes, or elephants. Of course, while famed as noble hunters, lions are not above the lowly time-honored art of scavenging. Africa is loaded with a bunch of powerful predators: cheetahs, hyenas, leopards, and other lions, and each of them can fall victim to food hijacking if they're unlucky enough to alert lions of their kills, something which is pretty hard to avoid. You see, lions are equipped with some of the finest senses in nature. Their eyes are more than 6 times more powerful than our own, which means they don't miss a thing, day or night. The same can be said about their ears, which can pick up minute sounds from great distances. If their trusty eyes and ears fail them, they can always fall back on their equally reliable noses. The nose knows, after all, and the lion's olfactory senses make it a supreme tracker. We also can't forget about their whiskers, which are vital for the sense of touch. Whiskers help a lion detect objects up close or even monitor wind direction and speed. African lions range quite a bit in size, with specimens from southern Africa being recorded as the largest. Males range from 72 to 82 inches in body length, excluding the tail, while females are between 63 and 72 inches long, also without the tails. The tails themselves are between 28.3 and 36.8 inches long. Body weight for females range from 261 to 316 pounds, while males range between 386 and 496 pounds. While physical differences are a fairly clear way to tell the sexes apart, the mane is the certain way. Also, unlike other cats, male lions grow pronounced manes around their heads and necks. Manes range from pale tawny to deep black, with coloration, size, and shape of the mane being determined by genetics, nutrition, testosterone levels, and age. Despite their large sizes, lions retain a lot of cat-like athleticism. They can reach speeds of 46 miles per hour and can easily jump on the backs of prey like zebra and even giraffe in a single bound. They are armed with extreme weapons for extreme violence. Their teeth are perfectly designed for the carnivore lifestyle. Long, sturdy canines puncture flesh and suffocate large animals, while scissor-like carnassials work in tandem to shear off flesh from corpses. Their long, retractable claws are ever sharp, making them perfect for gripping prey to prevent escape. Unfortunately, despite its dominion over other animals, the African lion is in serious trouble because of humans and human activity. Urban expansion continues to eat away at the lion's traditional homelands, which is resulting in severe habitat loss for this once widespread predator. Asian lion. Asian lions are, for the most part, pretty much exactly the same as their African kin. They even have the same scientific name as extant West and Central African lions, Panthera leo. This means the two lion groups are closely related and share very recent common ancestry. Asian lions are most likely a now cut-off branch of lions that migrated from Africa into Eurasia. Mitochondrial DNA analysis shows that modern Asian lions are more closely related to the extinct Barbary lion of North Africa than they are to lions from East or Southern Africa, which lends further validity to the migrated to Eurasia theory. To be honest, saying the Asian lion is cut off is a bit of an understatement. The more accurate thing to say is that Asian lions are a remote island in a vast ocean of extinction. Today, you will only find Asian lions at the Gir National Park in Gujarat, India. They are all that remains of a once thriving population of Eurasian lions. As we've already seen, human expansion and development are directly opposed to lion welfare, which makes sense to be fair. After all, it's hard to sleep easy in your town or village knowing that you're surrounded by 400-pound killing machines. Lions from Europe and Asia also bore the brunt of the demands of Roman, Persian, Greek, and other kingdoms' fighting arenas. Thousands, if not millions, of lions, tigers, bears, and other animals were captured and brought to blood sport arenas to be tormented or unleashed on men and beasts. Nowadays, there are fewer than 1,000 Asian lions left in the wild, and all of them live at Gir National Park. A bunch of zoos around the world have specimens too, and breeding programs are underway, but the odds of a successful revival are slim, given that there are even more people living in the cat's native domain than ever before. Physically, Asian lions are not too different from their African relatives. Males sport the iconic manes, and females are considerably smaller. However, when looking at manes, for example, there are some differences. Male Asian lions have thinner, less pronounced manes than African males of similar age. Because of this, a male Asian lion's ears are much easier to see than an African lion's, which are often hidden in the mass of hair. Then, there are overall size differences. Asian lionesses range from 240 and 260 pounds, while males are between 350 and 420 pounds. This makes them a bit smaller than the lions of the Melanochaeta subspecies, but on par with lions from West Africa. Of course, given the relatively small and localized population, it's very possible that the largest Asian lions died out ages ago, and all we're left with is weak inbred genes that inhibit size. Asian lions also work with a completely different menu than African cats. In India, they live off various deer species, boar, gaur, and monkeys, instead of the antelopes, zebra, warthogs, and giraffes on offer in Africa. Another interesting difference is their group dynamics. Unlike African lions, which live in combined groups of females, cubs, and dominant males, Asian lions live in sexually segregated groupings. Females and their cubs live in groups also called prides, which can have up to 10 or 12 individuals. Males live alone or in bachelor groups called coalitions with other males. A coalition may have up to 4 individuals organized in a dominance hierarchy with an established alpha male. Both coalitions and solo males can hold territories, but being part of a coalition is a clear advantage for lions looking to hold on to their real estate long term. Asian lion groups only come together during breeding season, during which rival males may fight each other for mates. Males in a coalition collaborate in this venture too, but the dominant alpha male gets to mate with most, if not all, the females. Other interesting differences between Asian and African lions are hair tufts, belly skin folds, and skull structure. Asiatic lions have more hair on their elbows and the tufts of their tails than African lions. The purpose of such hair and the evolutionary factors behind the difference is not certain. The long skin folds located on the bellies of Asian lions are equally mysterious. African lions do not have this loose skin, and we're not sure why or why not. Lastly, the skull of Asian lions features small holes called bifurcated infraorbital foramina. These holes allow extra blood flow to the eyes, and scientists believe this is to help boost eyesight in the Asian lion's jungle-like environments. African lion skulls, in comparison, do not have these holes in them.